It's WrestleMania weekend. Chris Soriano with you. It's the Soriano podcast from the top rope. Remember that? Oh, baby. From the top rope segment here on the Soriano podcast. And WrestleMania weekend has indeed kicked off earlier tonight with the WWE Hall of Fame ceremony, which, yeah, it went long, real long. But to me, the best Hall of Fame ceremony ever in the history of the WWE ever. Just the stories tonight, the people that were inducted, the way it ended. It started off with a bang, no pun intended. Great Bischoff story. DDP came out. DDP was long, but DDP had great stuff, great content, loved it. Closed out with Kurt Angle, obviously one of the best ever. He was funny, also had his serious moments at time. Word of advice for a lot of the young wrestlers, people coming up in the business. He did a great job, and obviously, you know, the milk salute, getting milk all over himself, that was great. I died with the little 10-gallon hat he had. It was hysterical, brought back memories of the Attitude Era and those funny bits that he did. So, great night. Hall of Fame ceremony was brilliant. Tomorrow, obviously, NXT. Will we see Jim Cornette at NXT? Who knows? Keep an eye out for that. And then Sunday, WrestleMania, obviously. Pre-game, I think, starts at 5. Actual show starts at 7. The most interesting debate always going into WrestleMania for me, especially the last couple of years where they've had multiple main events, and especially when they started the brand extension with Raw and SmackDown and you had 2 World Championship matches. What should close out the show? Now, traditionally, it starts off with a world heavyweight title match ending the show. That's just tradition, unless it's something huge. Like Michaels and Taker, that closed out the show with good reason. I thought Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair should have closed out the show in Orlando a couple of years ago. What was the main event for that year? Again, I'm drawing a blank. But I thought Flair and Michaels should have closed out that show. But there's always a fascinating debate as to what should close out the show. Now, if it's a world title match, you got to think, what title does the WWE value more? The Universal title or the actual WWE World title? If you're a proponent and you're a big believer in that world title matches should close out the show, you probably are pushing real hard and hoping that Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt closes out WrestleMania. That probably will not happen. The least possible match out of the big 3 main events, the least possible to close out the show is Orton and Wyatt. I think it'll be a tremendous match. Probably the best match out of those 3. It's not going to close out the show. Now, do you close out with Goldberg and Brock? That was the main event segment on Monday. Usually the main event segment closes out the show. Usually, not all the time, but usually. Will that close out the show? Jim Ross is now being brought back to call that match. Apparently that is the match that Jim Ross is calling. Now, we don't know for sure. What we do know is that Jim Ross has been signed to a new deal with the WWE. He should have never been let go in the first place. Bad move on Vince. But, you know, it's been a tragedy what's going on with his wife, obviously with her passing. So maybe WWE is feeling a little bit soft inside in the heart. Want to bring JR back. WrestleMania weekend. She loved WrestleMania weekend. Jan Ross did. JR always says that. So, you know, maybe it's a little feel-good thing to throw JR a bone. Hey, Jim, come back, call a match. Now, the heavy rumor out there is, obviously it is, you know, obviously confirmed that he will be calling a match. What match will he be calling? a lot of sites are reporting that he's calling the Brock and Goldberg match. Now, if you want to sell the Brock and Goldberg match, at least to the people that are watching, not really so much people in the stands, but the people that are watching on the network, okay, let's bring JR down. You know, you're going to be into the match and you're going to want to watch it and not walk away because Jim Ross is back on commentary. But could he be calling another match? And to me, if he's calling this match, that means it's going on last. And speaking of last, it will be someone's last. First of all, me personally, with the outcome that is probably going to happen, the WWE is stupid. So stupid. If they do not close out WrestleMania 33 with Undertaker and Roman Reigns. If they don't close out, they are risking losing the rest of the show. Even if you have that as the next to last match, you cannot possibly set the next match up for failure. Because if he, honestly, if he does, and Goldberg Brock goes on last, you're basically setting it up for 04 all over again, even worse. Because that crowd will be so brutal that Roman Reigns beat Taker and possibly beat him and retired him. If Jim Ross calls that match, you know, this is probably Undertaker's last match. Once the Oklahoma fight song starts coming out before Taker and Reigns, you may be going, oh shit, this could be it. This probably is it for Undertaker. Now, I've said this. He's going to get heat for winning the match after this, which makes no sense. After WrestleMania, you're supposed to have fresh storylines, fresh concepts, just a fresh start. No. So what that means also is that he will not be turning heel. Because if he's going into a feud again with Braun Strowman, that means, ho-hum, he's going to be a face again. This is how they could really work this match. He can win Reigns, but he should win dirty. This is how I would book it. Reigns beats Taker, which is about a 99% chance that it's already happening. It's been written up already. He beats Taker, say with a steel chair or a low blow when the referee's not looking. And he spears him, and then that's it. Now what you've done, if you're the WWE, is you have now created money. Because you have now officially put the heel tag on Roman Reigns, which will turn into the biggest, the hottest, most hated, despised heel that the WWE will have going for them. 100%. Because there's no way, I mean, they have to know. They have to know no matter what Mark Calloway does. There is absolutely no way that they will accept him. They don't want to accept him. Why? I don't know. Stone Cold Steve Austin didn't have a wide array of moves. He just didn't. Neither did, I mean, hell, they're chanting for Goldberg, a guy that can't wrestle, that never really wrestled for more than 5 minutes, who only really has a spear and a jackhammer. They go crazy for him. Roman Reigns, boo. They booed him out of the building tonight. Every time they had the screen on him at the Hall of Fame ceremony, they're booing him. And if you're a fan also that's saying, I can't believe it. Where is the new generation? Where's the younger push? Where's the push of the young guys? And you're going to bitch that Roman Reigns goes over on The Undertaker, you're a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite. To me, Reigns should win. Reigns has to win. Reigns should win also as a heel. And Reigns should win and have the heel born. He's played nothing but a heel the last week and a half, 2 weeks. So you might as well go with it. But I think it's tough to predict it because they don't usually have the 3-man events back to back to back. They usually have a filler match in between. How I would close out the show, really, if you want a bridge match, I would go Orton, Wyatt, Brock Goldberg, Taker, Reigns. That's how I would close out the show with those three. And that's how I would book Taker and Reigns. I would have Reigns win, obviously, but I would have Reigns win in a heel way and build the heel persona. Now, a couple of interesting notes for WrestleMania 33. Samoa Joe does not have a spot on the show. He could make his way into the Battle Royal, which is disheartening because he's being wasted. I would love to see an interpromotional match between him and AJ Styles. They opted to go with Shane. Obviously, you hear the rumors now. They opted to go with Shane because they asked Shawn Michaels. Michaels said no. Me personally, I would have said okay. Instead of going to Shane, I would have went to Samoa Joe. They didn't. He should win the Rumble, Samoa Joe. No doubt about it. If they want to build him up to be this big beast, have him win the Rumble, the Battle Royal, Andre the Giant Battle Royal. It's disheartening too with Joe because a heavy rumor that he was going to not only face Cena at WrestleMania, but also beat him and solidify him as one of the biggest heel destructors on the Raw roster. That's not happening. Stipulations could be, or maybe they have to be added to the Intercontinental Championship match and the McMahon-Styles matches, because let's face it, Ambrose and Baron Corbin aren't going to give you a 5-star wrestling match. Neither is Styles or Shane. So you have to kind of put in something that's going to get us going. I would like Falls Count Anywhere for Ambrose and Corbin. No holds barred for McMahon and Styles. John Cena will propose to Nikki Bella. It will happen. They're just making it too obvious at this point. He will propose. They will obviously beat Miz and Maurice. He will then propose to Nikki Bella in the middle of the ring at WrestleMania. Me personally, I think that's pretty fucking cool and good for John. I've been a critic of his, but he just is. He's the guy. He's the guy of this era. Nobody has worked harder than he has, and good for him. And as much as I really don't care that much for Nikki Bella, good for Nikki Bella. She loves him. They're happy. God bless them. Mazel tov. SmackDown version of the Tag Team Championship belts changed hands last Tuesday in a great match between the Usos and American Alpha, but is not currently being defended on the card. Now, this brings up, could we see what happened at Ring of Honor? The Hardys magically appear and challenge the Usos for the title. I would love that. Chances of that happening are slim. I would love it and mark the fuck out. Finn Balor has been wrestling at house shows. Could he impact the Triple H Seth Rollins match, or will they save him for Raw the following Monday? Me personally, I think this will be one of the biggest Raw after WrestleManias in recent memory. What other match do we have on the card? Neville versus Austin Aries. That's on the kickoff show. I'm disappointed it's on the kickoff show. I'm disappointed. Although I am hyped to see that. Neville and Austin Aries. Love Austin Aries. Loved him in Ring of Honor. Loved him in TNA. Great that he's going to be wrestling in WrestleMania. I love it. Alexa Bliss versus all the available women on the SmackDown roster. That has been switched after popular demand. From the SmackDown brand, that has been switched to the main show. Good for them. Good for the women getting their big break. Again, the women have come a long way from being on the kickoff show. So right now, the 2 kickoff show matches, Neville and Aries and the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Then you have Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson versus Enzo Amore, Big Cass, Cesaro, and Sheamus tag team triple threat ladder match from Raw. That will be incredible, I think. I think Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson retain, or they go with Cesaro and Sheamus. Don't know if they're going to give the belts to Enzo and Cass, but then again, who knows? Maybe I just tank mushed them and Enzo and Big Cass win. Who knows? Ambrose and Corbin. I think Corbin should win. Give him his big break. Ambrose has kind of had had his WrestleMania moments. This match, obviously, from SmackDown. I would give it to Corbin. I think he's earned it. And I think Corbin will be a world champion one day. First step, as always, traditionally, is the Intercontinental Championship. Jericho and Owens could be the match of the night. U.S. Championship, Owens has to win. Again, if you are a person that wants to kind of see the young guys get over, Owens has got to beat Jericho in a classic, and I think he will. Bayley versus Charlotte versus Sasha versus Nia Jax. I mean, the easiest thing really for me is Sasha wins and turns heel. Don't think they give it to Nia. It would kind of be anticlimactic if Charlotte won. I'd be shocked if Bayley retained. Sasha winning and beating Bayley and turning heel, I could see that. It would make the most sense. Cena and Nikki Bella obviously will get over on The Miz and Maurice. Cena will then propose to her after. Shane and AJ, again, another one. AJ has to win. Expect a huge spot from Shane. You know they have a roller coaster on the set. Is he going to jump off the fucking roller coaster? He's done crazier shit, man. Triple H and Rollins, non-sanctioned match from Raw. Expect that to be another one. Could be the match of the night. With Seth Rollins, obviously, you got to win. Taker and Reigns. Wyatt, Orton. Me personally, I would have Wyatt retain. I think it's smart booking. Makes Bray look a little bit stronger. Bray's the younger guy. I would have Bray win. Goldberg, Lesnar, me personally, I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do. I have no clue what the fuck where they're going with this. I have no clue. Give me Brock to beat him in 6 minutes or something. I mean they can't. If this match is not the last match on the card, it could be maybe Goldberg goes for the spear, hits the ring post, Brock gets him in an F5 and beats him. If it's the last match, I could see it going for maybe 6-7 minutes at most, because Goldberg can't go that much. He's even admitted it. And who knows if they're going to have something after that. Who knows? But my winners, Brock. I want Bray. I think they'll probably give it to Orton. Reigns, Rollins, Styles, Cena and Nikki, Sasha, Owens, Corbin. I could see Cesaro and Sheamus winning. I'll go with them. Alexa will not walk out the women's champion. I'd like to see Aries win. Don't know if they'll give him the belt out of the chute. Neville will probably retain. Also, Al Roker will serve as the special guest ring announcer for Cena and Nikki versus Miz and Maurice. What? That's WrestleMania 33. What do you think WrestleMania 33 will be? What are your predictions? What are your outcomes? What do you think is going to happen the next night on Raw? The next Tuesday on SmackDown? Give me your predictions on here, whether it be on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, on YouTube, wherever you're watching this. I want to hear from you. Also, if you're watching this, subscribe to the Soriano Network for great wrestling content, sports content, and anything that's, well, relevant or funny in my eyes. Enjoy. And enjoy WrestleMania 33.